and specifically about our activities here in the promotion of cooperation with southern India, with southern Indian states. But at the beginning of our today's meeting, we just wanted also to present you a couple of very short documentaries. I think it will enliven our interaction on the one side, and secondly, we would like to display to you at least one of the important topics, one of the important events that we celebrated this year. It is anniversary of the victory in the world in the Great Patriotic War and in the end of the World War II, where India also played its important role and
played a significant role in liberating the world from one of the greatest threats in history. Numbering just over 200,000 men at the onset of war in September 1939. By 1945, its armed forces had grown to more than 2.5 million men, serving in infantry, tank, artillery, and airborne divisions. The Indian Army, composed entirely of volunteers rather than conscripts, became the largest volunteer force in history. During the war years, Indian troops demonstrated exceptional bravery and valor fighting against Mussolini's forces in East Africa, confronting the German Afrika Korps led by Erwin Rommel, serving as the third largest contributor to the Allied landing in Italy, and engaging in fierce combat across Malaya, Singapore, Borneo, Burma, and even India's northeastern territories. Simultaneously, Indian soldiers played a vital role in maintaining Allied supply lines. As the backbone of British forces in Iran, they helped secure the southern corridor for delivering Western aid to the Soviet Union. Among those who distinguished themselves in this effort, 2 Indian soldiers were awarded the highest Soviet military honor, the Order of the Red Star. Their names are Senior Lieutenant Suldar Narayan Rao from Bengaluru and Havildar Gajendra Singh from Almora, Uttarakhand. In an exclusive interview for the book Friends of the Soviet Union, India's Solidarity with the USSR during the Second World War, published in 1977 by Soviet journalist Leonid Petrokhin, Kakor Gajendra Singh shared the story behind his bravery and the motivation that drove him.
Our main task was to reach supplies to the Russian soldiers fighting the German invaders in the south of Russia. From Kanikin to Tabriz via Hamadan was 3 days of arduous journey on 6-ton trucks. Our officers told us how important it was that the supplies reach our allies, the Russians, who were keeping the enemy from marching towards India. We worked day and night, not bothering about the dangers lurking behind every hillock, every tree, every corner, and kept up the supplies of military hardware, ammunition, rations, and other material. In our heart of hearts, we knew that this ammunition and these rations were as vital for the defense of India as it was for the defense of the Soviet Union. We knew that the enemy we were fighting was ruthless. He was the enemy of mankind. This realization gave us additional strength.
A very interesting fact about the Russians' character, the kind of recognition, the kind of respect, they kept giving a special pension of 15 rubles per month to both these individuals till the time they were alive. One should not see it in terms of finance, 15 rubles, but one must see it as a gesture of acknowledgement, appreciation for life, that we acknowledge to give you this as kind of respect, not as kind of to compensate anything.
The great victory over Nazism is not subject to division among countries, nor should it be a matter of speculation or attempt to rewrite history. However, they must not forget those nations that made the ultimate sacrifice for the freedom of humanity. Over 87,000 Indian troops and 3 million civilians lost their lives during the Second World War.
And just let us also demonstrate you also very short film. It is 3 minutes film or something about Russia. These films were prepared by the General Consul. Those films, they're exclusive. Just the film that will demonstrate what is Russia now.
Почему? Потому что мы становимся по-настоящему суверенной страной. Мы уже мало от кого зависим. Мы в состоянии уверенно держаться на ногах с точки зрения экономики. Уважаемые коллеги, в прошлом году экономика России росла темпами выше мировой. По этому показателю мы опередили не только ведущие страны Евросоюза, но и все государства так называемой «большой семерки». Хочу отметить вот что. Огромную роль в этом сыграл фундаментальный запас прочности, который был сделан за последние десятилетия.
In the heart of Eurasia stands a nation with centuries of heritage and a future built on strength, self-reliance, and innovation. This is Russia, proud, sovereign, and reborn in the 21st century. A country of engineers and explorers, defenders and creators. A civilization that shapes its own destiny. The year 2024 for Russia can be described in terms of resilience, unprecedented growth, and a bold transition towards strategic national development. With population of the country standing at roughly 150 million people, the GDP measured by purchasing power parity has reached 7.5 trillion US dollars, placing Russia on fourth place among all economies. The growth of 4.3% reflects robust internal demand and structural adaptation. Russia today is at the forefront of technological transformation. With one of the world's most advanced nuclear energy industries, Russian state nuclear corporation Rosatom builds next-generation reactors both at home and abroad. Across the remote Arctic and Caspian regions, advanced technologies are deployed in the most extreme conditions to ensure the sustainable development of our vast territories. A network of new factories now fuels domestic industry, from drones and microelectronics to aircraft engines and electric trains. The dream of technological sovereignty is no longer just a goal, it's becoming a reality. Russia is laying down the physical arteries of its future. Highways like the M12 Vostok connect Moscow to the Urals in record time. Dozens of major bridges, tunnels, and bypasses are transforming regional connectivity from Kaliningrad to Vladivostok. Soon, the country's first high-speed rail line will link Moscow and St. Petersburg, cutting travel time of 700 kilometers to just 2.5 hours. Renovated and expanded port infrastructure is now harboring ships as never before and serving as the welcome gate to the country. Advanced sports and tourism facilities enhance national health and living standards while also reinforcing Russia's status as a leading sports power. To defend its sovereignty, Russia invests in unmatched strategic capabilities. From the depths of the oceans, silent and powerful Borei-class submarines patrol with nuclear precision. In the skies, Su-57 stealth fighters push the boundaries of aerospace engineering. On land, the modern Russian army deploys next-generation tanks, drones, and missile systems. The S-400 and S-500 air defense systems are not just weapons, they are shields that protect the homeland and friends of Russia as well.
India's S-400 Sudarshan air defense system has proven its unmatched capability in intercepting and neutralizing aerial threats. As tensions remain high along the borders, the S-400 Sudarshan system continues to fortify India's airspace, ensuring air dominance and protection from evolving threats.
Space has always been a realm where Russia leads with courage. From Gagarin to the International Space Station, the legacy of Soviet and Russian spaceflight inspires generations. Today, the country continues to launch both tradition and innovation into orbit. New launch vehicles like Angara and space platforms like Skiff expand Russia's cosmic footprint. Satellite constellations provide communications, navigation, and Earth observation, powering both defense and civilian services. With every mission, Russian space agency Roscosmos proves Russia belongs among the stars. No other country commands the Arctic like Russia. With the world's only fleet of nuclear-powered icebreakers, including the mighty Arktika and Yakutia, Russia opens new shipping lanes through the Northern Sea Route. The Arctic is not a distant frontier, it is a zone of strategic development. New ports, gas terminals, and rail links are transforming frozen wilderness into corridors of opportunity. Here, technology and willpower conquer the impossible. Russia's strength lies not only in machines or missiles, but in its people. High educational standards and strong-minded and ambitious young generations boost the country's potential to reach new pinnacles of its development. In the minds of young engineers, the courage of its soldiers, the wisdom of scientists, and the spirit of a nation that never gives up. In the face of challenges, Russia continues to build, not only cities and factories, but a future for its people. It protects, not just borders, but the everyday lives of millions. It advances, with the strength of its citizens at the heart of every step forward. Every road laid, every innovation developed, every milestone reached is done for one purpose: to make life better, stronger, and more secure for all who call this country home.
I can tell you that a lot of my friends here from Tamil Nadu, also who visited Russia this year, they were really impressed by the country, by its development, and I just welcome you, everyone who has an opportunity to also to visit my country. So, for those who have just joined, I will repeat that I'm Consul General of the Russian Federation in Chennai. I'm responsible for 5 states of south of India. And to the right of me, this is the director of the Russian Center, Alexander Dadonov. We are holding traditional annual press conference today on the Russian-Indian relations and our cooperation with the south of India. And I think I would start with just general assessment of our relationship, which certainly I would say that the passing year, 2025, was, of course, very fruitful in our cooperation, and we have noted practically growth practically in all areas. And as we started this press conference demonstrating you a documentary on the 80th anniversary, it was one of the celebrations under the sign of which we worked this year. Also, this year we had 2 more memorable dates. It is 25th anniversary of Russia-India, of establishing Russia-India strategic partnership. And also it is already 15 years as our strategic partnership was raised to the level of special and privileged. We held most of our most of our events here in the Russian center and also in coordination with various Indian institutions under the sign of these celebrations. I think we had more than 20 events, or more than 15 events at least, devoted to the celebration of the victory in the World War II and Great Patriotic War. Great Patriotic War, it is a part of World War II, the war that was pursued by Russia against the Hitler fascist Germany in 1941, 1945. And the result of that war, I think you're quite aware, as this is not just the victory of, not just the entering of the Soviet army into Berlin, but also the creation of the new system of international relations, which for the first time adopted, for the first time in the history of mankind, adopted many principles, also the principles of equality between states that now govern all the international relations. And now we take it as for granted, but just 80 years back, it was not such a normal thing. And many of these principles were established as a result of that victory. So just coming back to our main topic about our relationship, you know that Russia and India had a very intensive political dialogue this year. Our foreign ministers, external affairs ministers met at least 6 times, and our presidents had at least 7 telephone conversations, and president and prime minister. And certainly the major milestone was the state visit of the president of the Russian Federation, Vladimir Putin, to India on 4th and on December 4-5. That was definitely a historic landmark event, providing the new impetus to our cooperation. And I think starting from our leaders' chemistry, which was fully displayed during this summit. The meeting, the top-level meeting, had a lot of deliverables in the form of 29 agreements and a long joint statement and rather solid. It was rather solid document, which is called Russia-India. Time-tested, progressive partnership based on trust and mutual respect. The arrangements and the agreements and the understandings of this summit are set to create conditions and energize the existing institutionalized cooperation framework, providing additional positive effect to our trade, economic, scientific, technological, defense, security, cultural, and academic ties. This is also important for enhancing collaboration between the regions of Russia and India, including the southern India. I think you know that Russia, that in the understandings and the agreements that we had, one of the most important is that we are going to work on making our trade more balanced and certain specific trade benchmarks, and not just in trade but in economic cooperation and scientific cooperation were set in our joint program of development of strategic areas of Russian-Indian economic cooperation till 2030 that was adopted during this summit. Touching on our cooperation in South India, we had very prolific, our general consulate, the Russian house, we had a very prolific run this year. We had a lot on our plate, and so there are some maybe the main highlights were the meetings with the top authorities of the southern Indian states, and I had a meeting with Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu, Stalin, with Chief Minister of Telangana, Rewant Reddy, and along with Ambassador of the Russian Federation in February, we visited Karnataka and participated at the biennial Indian Air Show, and also met the Chief Minister Siddaramaiah. I also had an opportunity to meet governors, including Governor R. Ravi of Tamil Nadu, including Governor S. Varma of Telangana. We discussed the let's say broad agenda of our cooperation and the opportunities and the current status of our cooperation and opportunities for further expanding our interaction. Also, we had several delegations that visited India and southern India, and this was they were first of all aimed to bridge the gap in awareness between our businessmen. Several very representative business delegations visited all southern Indian states, Tamil Nadu and Telangana, Kerala, Karnataka, Andhra Pradesh, and also the first South India business mission was organized from Tamil Nadu to Russia. So the focus of our business cooperation is getting increasingly diversified and shifting towards high technologies, artificial intelligence, quantum computing, pharma, fintech, and agritech. But apart from this, certainly we continued to assist in in developing, in the construction and developing of our cooperation within major projects. First of all, the construction of the nuclear power plant Kudankulam in Tamil Nadu, modernization of the Indian railway network, and assistance in promoting the project of Vande Bharat, expanding interaction. Also, we worked in the area of development of natural development of natural resources deposits. I think Alexander will touch on the cultural aspects of our interaction, which was, I would say, we had a very rich program this year, a lot of events, and I think I will provide the floor for him.
Thank you. So, in 2025, the Russian Center of Science and Culture, the RCSC in Chennai, effectively implemented a comprehensive program aimed at strengthening humanitarian, educational, and cultural ties between Russia and India, South India particularly. Primary focus was given to engaging with youth, audience, and academic circles. The central theme, as His Excellency already mentioned, the central theme of the year was the 80th anniversary of victory in the Great Patriotic War. A series of large-scale campaigns, for example, St. George's Ribbon campaign, the Morton Regiment campaign, film screenings and exhibitions were held, reaching thousands of students and Chennai citizens in general, from leading Chennai universities, organizations, companies. Separate events were dedicated to the defender of the Fatherland Day and Russia's contemporary role, including discussions on international relations. I would like to put the stress on one event that on the eve of Victory Day, Russian boxer Dmitry Kudryashov, worldwide known as Russian Sledgehammer, the champion, boxing champion, brought a lamp lit from the eternal flame in Moscow to Chennai, symbolizing the enduring memory of the Great Patriotic War. The flame was handed over the young sportsman, San Prana, representing the youth of the Russian compatriot community in Chennai. Kudryashov also conducted a high-energy masterclass for 100 young, talented Indian boxers at the newly inaugurated, that time, Kalyanar Central Boxing Academy in Chennai. This event drew attention. Thank you, my God. Put it there. Government Youth Welfare and Sports Development Department, and Indian boxing champion, the Olympian Mr. Venkatasan Devarajan. The event had a great success. The cultural highlights of the year was Russia's late participation as the country of focus at the 23rd Chennai International Film Festival. My friend. The year was Russia's participation as the country of focus at the 23rd Chennai International Film Festival. The closing day is today, by the way. Within this framework, screenings of films by the outstanding Russian film director, screenwriter, producer, and the director of the Mosfilm film studio, Karen Shakhnazarov, were held with great success. A particularly significant event was the celebration of the 25th anniversary of the Russian-Indian Strategic Partnership, which His Excellency already mentioned as well, happened in December. This celebration marked a festive concert program, marked by a festive concert program. Its audience included not only Indian citizens, but also representatives of diplomatic missions from foreign countries, underscoring the broad international resonance of our bilateral relationships. A significant intensification of academic and inter-university cooperation is being observed. The states of South India, such as Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, Telangana, attract Russian partners due to the highest standards of their educational institutions and their capacity to train qualified and semi-qualified personnel. This cooperation, I would say, gains particular relevance in light of the mobility agreements signed at the recent bilateral summit. In 2025, the number of places at Russian universities for foreign students increased. Further increase in quotas is planned for 2026, including the Russian government scholarship program. Key events in education with over 13,000 participants included the large-scale exhibition of Russian education 2025, Precise Energy Olympiad, and Science Festival. RCSC successfully running Russian language courses, a dance school, and a library. Also, the Michael Tal Chess Club plays a special role. Founded in 1972, it has become a legendary training ground for Indian chess. Over the years, it has been attended by many of the country's outstanding grandmasters, including the first Indian world champion, Viswanathan Anand. Over 100 events were conducted throughout the year, reaching a wide audience and generating significant media resonance. Strong partnerships have been established with leading universities and institutions in Southern India. The RCSC activities make a substantial contribution, I believe, to strengthening Russia's positive image, expanding its humanitarian influence, and creating a solid foundation for deepening the Russian-Indian strategic partnerships, especially in the fields of education, science, and culture. Thank you.
I think the results of our work, of our interaction this year, demonstrate that our countries remain long-standing and time-tested partners. We have a very strong foundation of our relationship, and we are confident that it will stand firm, regardless of any political expediencies, against all the global convulsions of today. Thank you. I think, yes, Nadia, in the joint statement of our leaders at the summit, and among two other major projects. It is also international corridor north-south and the Northern Sea route. why I just would like to draw your attention to this, because Vladivostok is a very important focal point in between at least two of these transport corridors. As this is a connection point between the North Sea route, which, as we expect, within foreseeable future will be open, and they will have the full year navigation, and this is also this makes Vladivostok a very important hub, and Chennai Vladivostok, even from this point, it is a very perspective project, and this is certainly it has a great future. At this point, we are working on activating this route, and I think it will take time. It will take time. Anyway, certainly there are certain cargoes which are already coming from Vladivostok and going to there, mostly coming from Vladivostok. So certainly this is a great work that we will have to do, and I would like to repeat that it is one of the most perspective maritime corridors of the future.
Yes, India government is introducing new nuclear bill.
Yeah.
For allowing privatization. Yeah. What is your take on that?
Look, I don't want to play a role of a Brexit driver to say anything about this or to advise about the nuclear bill, but it is understandable. India would like to, as we see it, would like to expedite its development of its nuclear domestic industry. And certainly, we are ready to work with Indian, not just state but private sector in this area. But in fact, I think we already have some kind of cooperation, not in the critical areas of construction of nuclear power plant Kudankulam, but let's say non-critical areas. And not just Kudankulam, but also in construction, in our joint efforts in construction of the nuclear power plant Rupur in Bangladesh. I believe that this will also open opportunities to expand our cooperation. Not just in the use of the nuclear energy, in the direct use of the nuclear energy, but also in its let's say in its additional application, for example, in the sphere of radiology, medicine, and many other applications.
So during your talk, you said opportunities in South India. What is the trade you are getting from South India? Business?
Oh, I cannot tell you. We have only the trade figures between Russia and India. This is, I think, it is better for you to refer to your Minister of Commerce.
You said opportunities. What type of opportunities you are expecting from South India?
Yeah, first of all, look, our cooperation is shifting to high tech. First of all, and besides, you see, we are very bullish about long-term prospects of the Russian economy, because we weathered the ideal storm. About 30,000, almost 30,000 very kinds of sanctions were imposed against Russia, and Russia stood firm. And it has a stable economy. Just the feeling that we demonstrated it is, and your people who visited Russia, they could see it with their own eyes. So we, I think, and also India. Also India is doing fabulously well, and it has a very robust economic outlook, and just combination of these factors, it is very important. They provide prerequisites for expansion of our cooperation. And what I just noted, frankly, that I noted myself that we are shifting to high tech. A lot of our companies, a lot of Indian companies, getting into engagement, and I would not, let's say, I would not, let's say, dwell into details at the moment, but we are working well in many areas, in cybersecurity, in pharmacy, and we're starting to work in the artificial intelligence, and this is quite a perspective area. I think our president, our president also mentioned this. But apart from this, there are critical industries like shipbuilding, aircraft building. I think you noted that we signed the first agreement on this in this field, as Russia is almost at the let's say it is. I think we will have a kind of revolution in the civil aviation sector. I believe just within 5-10 years, because we already have the main component of this engines. We have most advanced engines now, and now there is. We just started induction of first dual civilian planes. And apart from which are almost more than 90% produced by our domestic industry. I can tell you that even the United States doesn't have such proportions, such a share. Shipbuilding, aircraft construction, and also agriculture. By the way, this is the area we are moving very rapidly in many fields of agriculture, and hopefully we will be moving towards agritech. And also healthcare. This is a very perspective area. We already had good experience, rich experience in our cooperation on Sputnik vaccine. And apart from this, we are working with all your major pharma companies. I think, at least what I see here, this is we have a lot of perspective areas.
His Excellency, Ganesh Kumar, I am student here in Russian House. I have two questions. What about the news media collaboration with Russian and Indian news channels? Recently, we have started Russian Times in India, fully which comes under Khodzhaev, which is very good. So, is the same thing can be possible for Indian news media to operate in Russia, so that we have a
in this area. But understand, we're already studying large-scale cooperation as six agreements, at least 6 agreements of the 29 that was signed during the summit. They were about our cooperation between media outlets. I think certainly if we have more such cooperation, you will have more opportunity to see some alternative to Western views on the international development, normally when you look in the Western media, they are living in a kind of echo chamber. It looks sometimes like all the international agenda is let's say is limited only to the Western media outlets. It's not so. We have a global majority which also has its voice, fortunately the Russian outlets, the Russian media outlets are becoming very strong, just what I wanted to note that there was also an agreement between the RT and Prasar Bharati. As RT, maybe you know about that, but RT just a few years back, it has become very popular and in the West. And it was it started to compete with major Western agencies. They just, as we see it, they just wanted to remove a competitor also, and any dissenting view certainly they don't like it, I just hope that certainly this cooperation will expand, and we will have more news from Russia also here, have opportunity to see them and to hear them.
And also social media also, like we can, like most of the social media also which are popular, you have understand, but still like it is not that popular as the Western social media in India. So yeah, is there any else like we can do?
So, anything about culture?
Any Russian companies expected to invest in South India?
Huh?
Any Russian companies expected to invest in South India? Investments of, particularly spare parts manufacturing sector.
Look, I have no such information. Because you just please understand that this is commercial. Normally, it is commercial information, and but I think if you look into the joint statement, you will see there under the lines what are the areas of interest for Russia and where it is interested to invest here. But investing, and it was clear stated by the president and also mentioned in the joint statement that we are planning to increase our investment in India, and we are looking for ways. We will be looking for ways to do this. Okay.
Any other questions from the bloggers?
Russian languages, how instead of in colleges, universities, teaching Russian languages?
We are teaching Russian language here. We have the courses of Russian Language Institute in the RCSC, and currently we have agreement with schools in Coimbatore. We are teaching Russian language, of course, online. And at the moment it's programs of 2 weeks. We are offering these programs for different governmental schools. In November we had such a program where when the school children could learn Russian language, Russian culture, Russian history, Russian traditions as well. So it lasted for 2 weeks. This is what we are doing now, but we are discussing opportunities with different institutions here in Chennai, not only in Chennai, and with their counterparts in Russia. For example, the Russian Language State Institute, the Pushkin Russian Language State Institute in Moscow. Hopefully, we will find recently, we will find next year much more Indian institutions, South Indian institutions. South Indian institutions where children and students can learn Russian language. And using this opportunity, of course, I invite you all to our Russian language courses to become our students. Thank you. If no other questions from YouTubers, bloggers, 5 employees of the Russian Center of Science and Culture, the RCSC, or Russian House, as you know it as well, have been awarded high honors from the federal agency Rossотрудничество, aka Russian House, the RCSC. We would now like to formally present these awards. Okay. Signed by the head of the federal agency Rossотрудничество, Russian House, Mr. Evgeny Primakov, for active work in developing international humanitarian and public relations. Chief Manager of Russian House, Mr. S. Baskar. Сотрудничество, Russian House, for active work in developing international humanitarian and public relations, Mr. Arif Pasha. Awarded the personal commendation of the head of the federal agency Rossотрудничество, Russian House, by the way, it's under the Ministry of International Affairs of Russia, for conscientious performance of official duties. Madam Valentina Mayorova, the director of the Institute of Russian Language of the Russian House. Of the head of the Rossотрудничество Federal Agency, Russian House, for conscientious performance of official duties. The media manager of Russian House, Russian Center of Culture and Science, Madam Evgenia Solovchuk. Participation in organization the graphic novel exhibition Znania Heroes. And the last but not the least, awarded the personal commendation of the head of the Federal Agency Россотрудничества Russian House, Moscow, for conscientious performance of official duties.
Dadonov Alexander, the head of the Russian Center